The day every kid has dreamt of has finally come. I was in 4th grade when I took my first trip to San Diego, California. My mom had promised my siblings and I that we would be able to take a trip to Disneyland while we were there. With every mile, we were getting closer and closer. A few hours later, we had arrived at Disneyland. The first few rides were harmless enough. However, soon my parents spotted a different ride. I stood gazing at the soaring building. Fear came over me as I walked up to the ride. I hesitantly looked up and saw the menacing name of the ride that would ultimately end my life. The Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. I took one big gulp and followed, making sure I kept as close to my parents as possible. As we stood in line, someone who looked like he'd been dead for days approached a man wearing a uniform. To this day, I will never forget the words that came out of his mouth. "Make sure they stand on the red carpet," he said with a menacing smile. Wondering what he meant, I followed my parents into a room. Once we walked in, I knew exactly what he meant. We were standing on an old red carpet that could drop below us and send us falling down to our doom. My head began to spin. I was unable to see the things around me as my vision began to fade into darkness. Soon, they were ushering us all into a rickety old elevator, like cattle to slaughter. There, we saw rows of seats that resembled electric chairs. They strapped us in. I tried to resist, but the men were too strong. Before I knew it, I was flung to my death as the torture device repeatedly dropped us. Right before I took my last breath, the ride came to a sudden halt. We walked off, and almost like spirit had taken over my body, I shouted. I survived the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. Can you?